Blue TV Sports is brought to you in part by these generous sponsors. Origin USA, built to work, made for life, without comfort. The Height family of dealerships since 1911, with locations in Farmington and Madison. Jocko Fuel, hard work, clean fuel, no excuses.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Caldwell Field on the Mount Blue campus for tonight's game between the Mount Blue Cougars and Brunswick Dragon. I'm here with Coach D, Galen Dalrymple. Brunswick doesn't have a lot of numbers over there. They're coming off, a debacle last year, is I guess I'm going to put it.
Yeah,
but they're very much looking to rebuild, and they're a young, hungry team.
They really are in a rebuilding mode this year. All of those seniors, all of that talent has graduated, and really it's a team of unknowns. And as far as the Cougars preparing for them, that can be good or bad.
Absolutely.
We don't really know what they have. We know that last week they scrimmaged Messalonsky, and it did not go well. But other than that, we really don't know much about them.
So, like I say, Brunswick's coming up from the coast. Not a lot on the book about them, so we're going to find out. But let's talk a minute about our own Cougars. Got a pretty good number of seniors and some talent returning from last year. They played a lot last year. It was a very low-numbered senior class last year, so they have a lot of experience on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. This is a team that I think is going to gel. I mean, brand new coach. Several new members of the coaching staff. The good thing, we have Sean Moore now in the group, and Hunter Meeks. These are two guys that most of these players are familiar with. Hunter's a former quarterback, and Sean's a former player and has been coaching in our system for many, many years. And I think
both of them last year on my middle school staff. Both of them will bring stuff to this team, that's for sure.
And I coached Hunter when he was the quarterback, so I'm pretty familiar with his dedication and commitment to Mount Blue football. One of the areas of question, they are going to have some very young offensive and defensive linemen. I understand that there may be 2 freshmen starting on the defensive line.
Right, that brings earlier today, reading about the game and doing a little research on it and stuff. Mount Blue has decided to go to a 11-man on one side of the ball. They won't play defense.
Right.
Offensive people won't play offense. We'll see. That's the initial plan. We're going to, we'll see how it develops, from here. But the initial thing is unique to one side of the ball to the other. So when that happens, obviously you're gonna take some stock in your young talent. From just a sheer numbers standpoint. So it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves as well.
Absolutely, and the good news is those 2 freshmen, Hayden and Joey Hayden and Sam Ratcliffe are both big boys. They are big freshmen, and there are a lot of freshmen that are going to spend a lot of time on the field. And I actually commend, Coach Friedman for trying to do this. It's something we talk about. He has good numbers out there, and I hope this works.
So Mount Blue is set to kick off. Kicking off is going to be 22, Dane Kuzno. Brunswick's back in the stack, familiar 5-4-2 formation. There's the whistle, and we're set to kick off the 2022 Mount Blue Cougar season. Kugano approaches the ball. Kick goes to the third line, picked up by
Quinn McCaffrey has got the ball.
McCaffrey's running. Alex Ratcliffe and a host of Cougars bring him down. So Charles Stevens in on that tackle. So about a 15-yard return. It'll be Brunswick 1st and 10 from their own 39.
Cole McCourt was also in on that tackle, Coach, and it is so good to see him out there. He's a great kid, brings a lot of positive attitude and a lot of energy.
There's a snap and inside handoff and immediately brought down. Good play by Tucker Bates, number 31.
He came right through the middle of the Brunswick line, and I think line play is one of the areas that take the longest to learn. So
shot quickly and brings up a second and long 13 for Brunswick. Man in motion, a little counter going back the other way. Liam Scholl carrying the ball. Brought down after getting a...
Caleb Hutchinson came up from the linebacker slot and made a really good stick on the ball carrier. Stopped him for, a 3 or 4 yard gain, but it brings up 3rd and long.
So a 3rd and 9, this will be our first opportunity to maybe see Brunswick put the ball in the air.
I saw them before the game started. They were passing pretty well, so the quarterback can throw the ball.
So you got twins to both sides. Quarterback rolls to his left. He's going to be brought back.
Caleb
Hutchinson for the second time. Hutchinson split the A-gap, untouched, right to the quarterback. They lose about 10 yards on the play, and it's going to bring up about 4th and 18 for Brunswick, and we should see a punt here.
We should. That was a designed rollout. The guard pulled, and Caleb did a superb job of just following the guard, who was trying to waggle to the outside. Quarterback never had a chance.
Caleb's flat out fast.
He is very fast. The ball bounces.
There's the punt. It is down. Cougars are getting away from it. Brunswick's going to have an opportunity to down this ball, and they do it to Cougar 35.
Good teamwork there.
So a great defensive stand right there for the Cougars to start the game, and it's going to bring their offense onto the field, led by number 5, senior Jaden Meter.
Caleb Hutchinson did it again, Coach. On that punt, he was yelling to players, turned around, saw the ball was wacky bouncing, was telling players to, it's poison.
Poison, get away. Absolutely. So Meter in the backfield, Cowan Young trips to the left. Quick pitch. Goes into the hole, comes across, and picks up a couple of hard-fought yards, brought down by
I think it was Gavin Barber who made that tackle. Cohen Young is a transfer from Utah. Came in, arrived last spring. The kid, from everything I've heard, eats, breathes, and sleeps football.
You love to see that. The quick pass to the outside. Little cutted jig inside. Going to be hung up, and that was Isaac Wrigley on the reception. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe picks up about a yard. brings it 3rd and 7 here.
Yeah,
the Cougar offense.
That's a tough one with the defenders playing. The cornerback was right up on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, every time they've gone twins like that, you've got press coverage on, especially on that side of the field. So.
Right. And Quinn McCaffrey is one of their, veteran players. He's been on the field before, and he sniffed that out right away.
Meter with a cadence. Drops a little run to the right side. He's got a man downfield, and he throws the ball. And the Liberty is wide open. He's going to make the reception, and that goes for about 25, and it's going to be first down Cougars at about the Brunswick 32.
Great look from Jaden Meter.
A lot of patience there. He scrambled, but he was patient as he scrambled, waited, looked at the Liberty, who was released by himself. As soon as Wrigley went inside, cornerback and a safety both went with him, and it was almost like a wheel route up the sideline. The Liberty was wide open.
I think they were in a cover 2, and that safety didn't come over the top because it looked like the cornerback stopped on that one.
Inside handoff, little run by Cowan. He's going to pick up 5 tough ones here. Brought down by Nate Bockham. So they're going to credit him with 6, and it's going to bring a 2nd and 4 here for the Cougars.
Good blocking on the first phase by the offensive line. He ran behind the strong side of that line, behind Hayden Durrell and Tyleek Blofeld.
Another inside handoff, penetration, but Cowan bounces off it, and he's going to turn a negative into a positive here and pick up a couple more yards. Absorbed that initial hit, bounced off it, and went. That's good hard running right from the get-go.
And he dragged number 68, Gavin Barber, for about a 3 or 4 yard gain there.
So it's going to be 3rd and a short 3 here. Stevens across the middle. No, he's going to go to Isaac Wrigley, and the ball's dropped right at the mouth of the end zone. Wrigley couldn't quite get his body turned around.
That was a good throw by Meter.
It was definitely there. It's thrown to the outside.
On
Nobody else can get to it except for your receiver.
I think that was probably one of those situations where Isaac realized how wide open he was, and that's when you lose that little bit of concentration. And we got to believe, yes, this is 4-down territory with the ball deep inside Brunswick.
You've shown you can move the ball, so you've got a couple of options here. Stacked on the right. There's a quick pitch to the outside. Good block inside. Cowan's going to take off, and he's going to pick up about 12, and it's going to be first down Cougars. Great blocking there by the receivers on the outside. They cracked back into the inside, took out the linebackers, gave them an angle to run.
A lot of patience there by Cohen Young, too. He, he did that little stutter step, and then when he saw the opening, turned on the jets and went upfield. I mean, you and I both know, no yards a gain running from sideline to sideline. We
North and south only. There's a quick fake. Charles Stevens wide open in the end zone. Meter hits him.
Wow.
Great pump fake to the outside, froze the backer. Ball came directly into Stevens' hands, and it's 6-0 Cougars with 6:45 to go here in the first.
That was great. That linebacker, the outside linebacker on that side, who should have had Charles Stevens, basically just stopped on that pump fake.
Just enough for a timing issue to be thrown off, and the Cougars are in business early.
And Charles Stevens, he's a big boy, but he has pretty good speed for a player his size.
Absolutely, he can move, and he's got some hands on him, so. Meaden holds for Cousineau. There's the 11th player. Snaps low, handled well. Kick is up. And it's going to be wide right. But that was a great offensive series. So a good defensive series backed by a good offensive series. Cougars got to be pretty happy right now.
Absolutely. The offense took a while last week to get going. They had some moments of brilliance. And they had some mental breakdowns on defense. Now I think they've got that the cover 2 and who needs to go deep, or if you're in a cover drop 3 zone. you know, today they seem to be on the passes that was attempted. So,
well, confidence, nothing looked out of sync there. Every time Meter threw the ball, there was a receiver. The line gave him enough time to throw.
And he's a leader. And by the way, I believe today is Jaden Meter's birthday. Happy birthday, Jaden.
17 years old. Time flies.
Yes, it does.
So Kuzno's back to kick again. Whistle the approach of the ball. There's the kick. It's going to go back to the third line again. Brunswick returner looks left. Swallowed up right there by some Cougars. As he's down.
Porter Stanchfield on the return there. Looked like he might have lost the ball, but
Eben Barker brought him down. Brunswick starting again about their 34-yard line.
And that is Joey Hayden out there, number 60. He is a freshman.
I coached Joe last year. He's a great kid, very, very motivated.
He's one of the Starks crew.
Never said no to a farm boy or a woodsman on any team I've ever coached. So, snap, quick outside throw, and it's immediately swallowed up.
Wow.
That's a great defensive play right there.
Eben Barker came up on that one and stuffed it before it ever got going. He was up tight at corner on that play and just came forward and made the play. Great play.
So that was no gain. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 10.
The cornerbacks have dropped back on this one, Coach.
Looking to go downfield, and he's harassed all over the place. That's Bradford Kutcher coming out of the middle right there.
Brad
made
Kutcher.
The initial contact. Good to see him back on a football field right there. Now it's just pursuit and work.
Had that shoulder injury last year and hampered him all season long. That right there was just quickness and strength. He fired through that, that A-gap area, and the quarterback never really had a chance to even, throw a pass.
Sporter Stanchfield's left and Hunter Duval came in, so they've got a big target in that tight end spot on the left side. We'll see if he releases. He's going deep. Falls incomplete. Quarterback through the sideline. Receiver went inside, so.
Close to being.
Trevor Garish was the intended receiver, and that's going to bring up 4th and 14.
There was a little contact between Mount Blue player and Cole Cousineau and the receiver. But the referees looked at it and called it incidental.
And I don't know if it was going to be a catchable ball regardless.
It was high.
He was running in the wrong direction. Here's a punt, more spiral this time. Potential for return. Cougars are going to get away from it. It's going to be down by Cam Beal. And the Cougars will take over at their own 36-yard line for their second offensive drive. That's twice now as punts have had friendly rolls for the Brunswick side. They're not long, but if they pick up 15 yards or when it's bouncing around on the ground, it counts the same.
Right. They get that wacky bounce, and there's no – once it takes that bounce, your offense proved in your last drive that you can move the ball, so you don't want to take any chances. Just let your offense take over and matriculate the ball down the field.
There it is. But with 5:02 left in the first, it took about 7 minutes to make it happen. Meter hands the ball off to Cohen. He's up the middle, got a little slice of life, and another solid run.
He was carrying Brunswick defenders on
He runs
that.
hard. No question. He runs hard.
55 made that tackle, and he is not on a roster anyway.
I haven't seen him either. Or I haven't seen him on the roster. He's been involved in a couple of plays for him.
That was a good gain.
Yeah, he picked up about 7.5, so it's going to bring up second, and we'll call it a long 2 or a short 3. Meter Pace goes outside, hits Wrigley. Wrigley makes a nice cut. He's brought down by Tyler Maxima, not before he has first down yardage. After he picks up about 5, and Isaac Wrigley, he is water. He's just slippery. You don't put a body on him very well.
We didn't call him the Magic Man. What did we call him? Mystery Man last year.
Yeah, he wasn't a big fan of having the same number more than once.
No, he liked to switch it up. He's got a new number this year, but he can play football, so we'll just roll with it.
Meter and Cohen back in the backfield. There's a quick pitch. That side is opened up. What a patient piece of running right there as he saw the quarterback, the linebacker over pursue, waited, dove back inside, and he's going to pick up 8 right there.
Absolutely. Porter Stanchfield was in there, but by the time he made contact with Young, he was already 7 or 8 yards downfield.
So after marking him good for 7, it's going to bring up 2nd down and 3 with 3:24 left in the first quarter.
Mount Blue's offensive line seemed to have figured some things out. They're getting out in front of the runner quicker.
They were 5 yards downfield on that play. There's 88's going to be involved, Hunter Duval. And for the first time tonight, well, he's going to pick up a yard. He's going to pick up a yard with some tough running, but that's the first time tonight Brunswick seems to have an answer. There's a flag on the field. The officials are calling a false start procedure penalty on the Cougars.
You know, they were close to that last week on several occasions. Running backs or wide receivers were either rocking or starting to lean. And you do that. They didn't always call it last week in the scrimmage. But, you know, it counts today. And the officials are going to throw a flag when players do that.
So that changes it a little bit, and it winds up bringing – now it's 2nd and about 8. So the official's talking to the backfield, and, yeah, you can't lean, you can't rock, you can't do anything back there. And you literally have the official who threw the flag stands 8 feet away from the guys in the backfield.
He's watching the whole thing.
Mito, the drop back, a little screen in the middle. Young has it. He makes a cut. Some tough running forward, and he's going to pick up about 14 in the first down. You can't lean, you can't rock, you can't do anything back there. And you literally have the official who threw the flag stands 8 feet away from the.
Especially with an inexperienced team like Brunswick, they're not going to recognize that they're being let through that initial line of scrimmage. And that defensive line bit hard on that screen.
Oh, Meter sells it, too. He stood back there till the very last second and dumped it. So, nice play for the Cougars there.
He is not afraid.
No, he's not. Quick throw outside. Stevens has it. Makes a nice cut, and he's headed down the sidelines. And Stevens going to get down inside the 10-yard line. Those long legs get going. Next thing you know, he's covered 20 yards. So
I think he deceived the defenders there with his speed. Their angle of pursuit was not correct.
Where he was and not where he was going.
I think Brunswick took a timeout.
Brunswick takes a timeout, and the Cougars have the ball at their own 7. It'll be 1st and goal from the 7. We'd like to thank Origin and the Height Chevrolet family of dealerships for sponsoring Mount Blue Community Access TV's Cougar coverage.
Can you hand me that pile right there? Yep.
We appreciate them stepping up to help so that we can bring you this season worth of action from Mount Blue. But good start now for the Cougars as you've hit Wrigley a couple of times, hit Stevens a couple of times. Young's running the ball well.
Jaden is always done that. You know, he's able to stay back there. He's a patient quarterback, looks for the open receiver. We saw that a lot last year, and it looks like he's continuing that this year. And it helps when all these guys can catch the ball, too.
Absolutely. And they've caught it with their hands. They're not catching it with their body. They're reaching out in a diamond. They're catching the ball. They're tucking it away. The ball's secure. So it looks good for the Cougars. So first and goal from the 7th. Quick pitch outside to Cousineau. Cousineau's going to make a couple of cuts, and he's down inside the 2.
That was a nice bit of running by Cousineau. He ducked up inside there, and I love how he lowered his shoulders. There was no more running east and west. He went north and south. He smelled that goal line and lowered his shoulders, covered the ball with both hands, and tried to drive it home.
So a second and goal from just outside the 1 here for the Cougars. Snap. Ball goes to Cousineau. He's racing outside. They're going to mark him just short. We're talking about inches versus feet here.
I believe we're going to be pretty close to the goal line right there.
So it's going to bring up third and goal.
It was close enough that several Cougars put their hands up thinking he was in. So
he made a nice cut and got to the outside, but Brunswick did have good pursuit that time as linebackers came up the middle and changed the blocking scheme a little bit so that the end could maintain his ground. There's a quick pitch to the other side. Cousineau's going to walk in. So Dane Cousineau with 1:15 left in the first. Dane Cousineau finds his way into the end zone. So a couple of big pass plays set up a run. Last time a couple of runs set up a pass play.
I'm not sure what the linebackers were looking at on that. I think a couple of those linebackers froze when they saw Jaden Meter going backside, almost as if he was doing a bootleg, and they didn't chase down the line to be able to get
if you can run the ball the way the Cougars are running it right now, believe me, there's going to be no trickeration.
Right,
that's going to be straight up hand the ball to somebody. So 2-point conversion. Meter throws the ball all across the middle, and it's going to be caught. And Noah Prescott makes the catch.
I believe that is the 6th Mount Blue player to catch a pass from Jaden Meter tonight.
So that'll make it at 14-0 with 1:15 left here in the first quarter. And you can see a lot of the inexperience right now with Brunswick. Defensively, how they're reacting to stuff. But for the majority of them, if not all of them, this is their first time on a Friday Night Light situation.
Correct.
So
the last time some of these players were on the field, they were playing on Mondays, JV.
And over the last 10 years, obviously last year, notwithstanding, over the last 10 years, Brunswick has been an absolute powerhouse.
They have been dominant.
Cousineau to kick off. Kicks it. It's going to the third line again. The host of Cougars is going to wrap him up, but I'll tell you, Caleb Hutchinson again was the first guy there, made the running back stop, jiggle 2 or 3 times.
They're just gang tackling in there, just gang tackling. I love their passion and how they're going after the ball right now. And there we go. We got both freshmen.
And for the third time in a row, Brunswick's going to start from their own 34.
Yep. We have Sam Ratcliffe and Joey Hayden.
Sam and Joey in the middle.
Beautiful tackle.
A little bit of run. Hutchinson again.
That was a beautiful tackle by Caleb Hutchinson. Hayden got a little excited on that one. Joey Hayden went through the line and forgot he had to break down when he got butt to butt. Ran right by the running back.
But a lot of times penetration, if it changes a running back's route a little bit, the blocking isn't lined up right. So a little outside. Going around, Eben Barker is going to bring Liam Scholl down. And Barker recognized run early and immediately came upfield.
Yep. Great play,
It's going to
Evan.
make third and 7 here for Brunswick. I don't think there'll be another play before the end of the quarter.
And when you have your cornerbacks coming up or your safeties come up and play run like that, it can be a long night for the offense. Because you know your linebackers can tackle, but when your safeties and corners start coming up and stopping plays short of the line of scrimmage.
And especially when you haven't thrown the ball effectively, as Brunswick's tried one pass, guy goes inside, outside.
Mount Blue TV Sports is brought to you in part by these generous sponsors. Origin USA, built to work, made for life, without compromise. The Height family of dealerships since 1911, with locations in Skowhegan, Farmington, and Madison. Jocko Fuel, hard work, clean fuel, no excuses.
So back here at Caldwell Field, beginning of the second quarter, brings up a 3rd and 7 for Brunswick.
I think, Coach, you called it. That defense knows that Brunswick doesn't really pose a throwing threat, so they're just pinning their ears back and chasing now.
Yeah, at some point here, Brunswick's going to throw the football. That it's going to be a straight rollout, looking like he wants to throw, and there's the toss, and it's going to fall incomplete. But that would have been first down yardage right there. Number 9, Trevor Garish, was out there. He was open. But it's going to bring up a 4th down for Brunswick as it falls incomplete.
And that's tough, though, when you tip that ball up. You had
I was looking to see that get picked.
Cousineau was right there. Could have been interesting with him. You got one of your running backs getting the ball back there and taking off.
So Brunswick sets up the punt. Dane Cousineau's deep. Caleb Hutchinson is short. It's a good snap this time. The punt's going wide, and it's going to bounce around a little bit. And the Cougars going to start it at the Brunswick 44-yard line, or at their own 44-yard line, rather.
Smart play right there by Barker and Hutchinson. Both of them were blocking their men. That ball hit, and they recognized it immediately and backed away.
Well, even if you're blocking them, if the ball touches the receiving team, it's a live football. So it doesn't matter that you weren't trying to catch it or anything else. If it runs into you, that's a problem.
We always say in football, keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. It's important when you have a wacky punt for that, for that to happen.
So Cougars start second quarter going deep. There's Isaac Wrigley. And Wrigley's going to coast into the end zone. He's going to go for a 56-yard touchdown from Meter to Wrigley. And you could see Wrigley, he was even. The old adage is if you're even, you're behind. And as soon as the ball went into the air, you see Wrigley separate. And when he does, he's gone. So, and great play down the sideline.
There was no way he was going to drop that one. And Cam Beal,
absolutely not.
Cam Beal, the defender, kind of got himself caught and turned completely around. And just that little misstep.
Like I say, if you're even, you're behind.
Right.
Because Wrigley's going to hit that second gear. And next thing you know, he's 10 yards in front of you, coasting in from 56 out.
Absolutely.
So big play for the Cougars right there. 11:34. Cousineau's kick is up and no good.
I think it drifted right again.
With 11:34 left here in the second quarter, Cougars are going to jump out to a 20-0 lead.
Once again, though, Meter recognized that right away. Saw he had a 6'1" or 6'2" receiver on a 5'8" defender and said, okay, we'll take advantage of this.
And Wrigley's a great route runner. So as soon as he made the little wiggle to freeze that, Soon as Beal got frozen, Wrigley makes that little bit of a wiggle, and it's just enough to glide by him. Meter recognizes that, lays the ball out for him, lets him run under it.
I know that this is a different team than what they faced last week in Levitt, but what I'm seeing tonight is a Cougar offense that seems to be more in sync, more gelling. They're playing together.
It's why you scrimmage. It's why you practice.
Absolutely.
You work on things.
Some of the players at school this week asked me, Coach, how can Levitt be that good? You know, it's called 20 years with the same head coach, and we need to have that here. And I think if we can get a commitment from our coaching staff right now to stay long-term, we can develop that type of coming together.
Cousineau with the kick. Going to go into the third group again. Picked up by Garish. He tries to make a cut. Ball's on the ground. We're going to see who has the football.
Looks like Eben
Cougars
Barker's
football.
Eben Barker on the Ratcliffe won the tackle.
Alex Ratcliffe just shredded the ball carrier, ripped it. Eben Barker jumps on it, and Cougars are in business again. The officials are talking in the middle of the field for a second.
What do you mean? That was no fair catch.
There was a.
He's calling the running back down. The fumble does not occur. But that doesn't take away exactly what happened. It was done.
Not at all.
It was done correctly. Ratcliffe, like a rocket, came in and just laid into him, shredded the ball from him. Cougars defense out on the field now, and you know they want to get the ball back. They just saw it. They want the ball back now.
This is the first time we got trips.
We got trips to the right.
Left, yeah, right side. Their right side, our left of the defense. You're messing with my brain here, Coach.
They bunched it last series too.
I like it. We still got the two freshmen in the middle of that defense. Your defensive ends are McCourt and Kutcher.
Quick inside handoff to 33, Jimmy Cook. And he's going to run about 4 yards there before the teeth of the Cougars defense brings him down.
That was Farmer and Hutchinson were in on that tackle. Farmer from the linebacking spot.
They stay in trips. Brunswick calls a timeout. They didn't like something that they saw in the defense. And that's their second timeout, as they called one earlier in the first quarter. Thank you to Origin and Height Family of Dealerships for sponsoring Friday Night Lights with Cougar football this season. Very much appreciate bringing this out to folks that can't get to the games.
Absolutely. So many people.
I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot when I'm getting groceries or just in town. Someone will say, what a great idea that is, and that's awesome. You know, I don't feel good, whatever the case is. I don't want to, you know, potentially have COVID, don't want to give it to somebody, so I watch the game on TV, and that's a great thing. We got a lot of people that live out of state. They want to see their grandkids, and they want to see nieces and nephews. Yep. As we've got our cheerleaders down in front of us as well. They do a great job.
Last year, my son was deployed in Africa, and he actually watched a few of them.
Still could watch some games, so thanks to Mount Blue TV and Origin and the Height Family of Dealerships. Quick throw outside. Instantly snuffed out. Dane Cousineau comes up and makes the stop.
Nice play by Cousineau.
So it's going to bring up 3rd and 5 here for the Dragons.
This defense is just, they are coming to the ball very, very quickly.
Caleb Hutchinson. You don't want to mess around in the backfield and hop a couple of times. You're going to meet Mr. 33 head up.
Brad Kutcher was also in on that one.
Well, Kutcher made him stop, and as soon as he saw Kutcher, he turns to cut back, and
whack.
There it is. So 4th and 8 here for Brunswick. Set up in a punt formation.
That's why when you're coaching running backs, you try to tell them, try to avoid that back inside cut.
The flag in the backfield. This time Kuzno's going to catch the ball. He's going to turn, head upfield, picks up about 10 on the return. We'll see what the flag is. False start or procedure penalty on Brunswick. Penalties declined. Cougars will take over.
Yeah, you're going to start inside Dragon territory.
Right, for the first time today, you're going to be on their side of the field to start. At about the 44-yard line. So the Cougar offense, they elect the ball to the right hash. With the Wrigley and the Liberty on this side of the field, we'll see if they do something over here. Quick ball right up the gut.
Tyler Maxim grabbed Young on that play and said, not on this one. Tyler Maxim.
Barber's a big boy, too, so you hold him up for a second. He's gonna guarantee that you don't get much out of that.
Yeah. Brunswick does have some size in that interior defensive line.
Yes, they do.
Inexperience, but size.
Can't teach size.
Nope.
Can teach experience.
Can't teach speed. Can't
well, Liberty
teach
gets the
size.
ball on the outside. Got some blockers in front of him. Makes a couple of cuts. We're going to see where he's marked, but that may be first down yardage.
Should be a first down.
It is. It's going to be first down for the Cougars there. They pick up about 12 to A.J. Liberty on the outside.
Really nice run. I love how he waited for that other block to be made and then read the block. Picked up another 6 yards, got the first down.
Well, you wound up with 3 guys out in front of him blocking.
Right.
And that's team play. That's unselfishness. Quick pitch outside. Going nice cut back. And he gets hit in the middle of the field. And he went up to the head, and that's going to be a penalty against Brunswick. 55 popped him.
Good toughness by Young, but that's what I was talking about.
That's the inexperience. Right there, you put a shoulder pad into his belly, you got the same hit. Everybody celebrates it the same way. Now they're going to celebrate 15 going against your team.
And you know, one thing against better teams, that cutback like that is going to be even worse. Because I can tell you, Skowhegan's linebackers and Lawrence's linebackers are going to be crushing that.
Right, and they're going to put a shoulder into you.
But they're not.
They're not headhunting.
They're not
going to
do it on your head. They're going to do it midsection, and it'll probably hurt a lot worse.
Cohen did get up and come over. So
oh yeah, he bounced straight up.
It appears he's all right.
Tough kid.
He runs hard, and anybody that runs hard is usually a tough kid. So
yeah, if you're going to do that cutback, you want to make it a short cutback and turn up north and south quickly.
So first down, Meter with a quick throw out to Wrigley. Wrigley sees the outside. Isaac Wrigley makes a cut. Goes in, but there's dirty laundry on the field right where the block was made.
I think we're going to have a holding on the Liberty on that one.
It was right on the cut. We'll see what the call is, but when they throw the flag at a player, that usually means
yeah, right there.
That's
the Liberty
problem.
he tackled the defender.
But it was a nice tackle.
It
was
a
form,
very nice
both
tackle.
arms. So that's going to come back and negate what would have been a second score for Wrigley.
You know, if tackling on offense were a key play, then that was a key play.
He would have done it well.
He
Absolutely.
did it well. And that's just a young player. You know, he's excited. Yep. He's out there. Said, I'm going to make this block. And when the guy turned his back, he just wrapped his arms and said, I'm really going to make the block.
But he'll learn from that.
Yes, absolutely.
The play itself was designed well. Nice cut to the outside, and then the comeback by Wrigley. So I got an idea we'll see that again. So it'll be first and about 15 or 16 for the Cougars. There's that middle screen again. Cowan's going to roll forward and pick up about 7 of that back, making it a manageable.
There's another flag
there's
down.
A flag.
This time it was back in the area of where the quarterback was.
Nathaniel Hutchins limping off the field. Joey Hayden goes in for him on the offensive line. Coach Newell's going to take him aside and see him. That's the infamous getting rolled up on or stepped on. They still haven't announced the penalty.
Well, it's back there a long way, so.
That was the back judge. Definitely the guy in the backfield throwing the flag, so.
And it looks like he's going in the Brunswick direction. Had to be something late on Meter, the quarterback.
Yep, personal foul late, so they'll mark off that for the Cougars, and
that was probably another inexperienced thing. When that quarterback, once he gets rid
lets
of that
go,
ball,
you got to get off him.
You got to try and not make that hit.
So it's going to be second and about 3 here for the Cougars. Meet a quick pitch. Out to Cohen. He's going to turn. Come in. He's into the end zone. Good piece of running right there.
He can turn on the Jets. Cohen Young can turn on the Jets.
He was patient. He headed across the field, and then as soon as he saw the crease, up the field he went.
He did that last week on several occasions. We kind of saw him as he got more into the game and got a little more game savvy playing here. He started being a little quicker, hitting the hole. That's going to be important not only for this game, but moving forward.
Absolutely. So it looks like the Cougars are going to go for 2 again as the extra point was missed. Last score. And they're going to try to make it 28. He's looking out deep, and he's got
Noah Prescott.
Noah Prescott again. That's the second time Prescott's converted on a 2-point attempt. He likes the back of that end zone.
Yeah, he's a tall player too. He's about 6'1", a converted lineman, now a tight end.
So 7:33 left here in the second quarter. Cougars are up 28-0. And Brunswick has a very small bench over there too. It looks like the majority of their kids are playing both ways, and
yep.
They're learning tonight. They've been seeing some things. The Cougars' offense is doing multiple things. Running the ball, throwing the ball. Haven't seen a lot of counters, but you don't need to. If you're moving the ball, being
right. To Brunswick's credit, though, it's good to see them back out there, coming back after being essentially shut down for a year. And my understanding is they are going to play a JV game on Monday as well. So
there'll be better days ahead for the Dragons, I'm sure. Like I said earlier, for the last 10 years, they were a dominant force in Class B North, and
so many great running backs over those years.
Absolutely.
Bessie, I'm trying to think of the other one, the one that rushed for 2,000 yards. So many great running backs out of Brunswick.
Cowan Young kicks this one off, and it's going to be touched, and they're going to have to pick it up and try to run the ball from the 5. And Alex Ratcliffe, Jaden Meter turned him inside, and Alex Ratcliffe stormed him. They're going to pick the ball up, and Brunswick's going to be about the 11-yard line when they start these things. So Cousineau not kicking that time. Young kicking, and it just a difference in a couple of yards and not what they were used to.
Yeah, it kind of threw him off. McCaffrey actually came forward like he was going to block, but he had a better angle to catch the ball than Stanchfield did. And Stanchfield didn't grab it on the bounce, and that was just going to be trouble from the get-go.
Good piece of work from the Cougars defense again.
Wow. Cole McCourt came up and made a hit on the quarterback right there.
Well, and it was interesting because Kutcher looked like he had a shot at him. Then Hutchinson had a shot at him. But by scrambling away from those guys, he ran into McCourt.
Yeah.
McCourt and Barker coming up the same side. So not a lot of room to run right there, but the quarterback did pick up 3 yards.
And I like how they finished that tackle. You know, it's not just the fact that it was a big hit, but finishing the tackle.
They were still moving. We got timeout. Thanks again to Origin and Height Family of Dealerships for sponsoring tonight's broadcast and the rest of the season here.
Absolutely. Glad to have them. So
couldn't have had a better start, really, in this first half for the Cougars. I don't know what they could have done differently than what they've done from what Coach Friedman wanted to see. I think pretty much everything he dreamed in his head he wanted to have happened has happened.
I think so. The Cougars have moved the ball with relative ease. Jaden Meter's done a tremendous job of spreading the ball around, hitting the open receiver.
He's a field general. If you look at him, it's not a state of panic. And a lot of quarterbacks play with either a reckless abandon or just in a constant state of frenzy a lot. And Meter, if you're not in his chest, his feet aren't moving. He's sitting there looking at the field, and you either have that or you don't. You can't spend a lot of time trying to teach somebody to calm down. And
Jordan Whitney was the king of that.
Whitney would stand there and just look crazy. But now we got Brunswick running up the outside. Number 2, Cam Beal on a keeper around the left side is going to pick up Brunswick's first down of the night. Good outside blocking there for Brunswick. Coming down the field, getting the linebackers and cornerbacks off the ball enough so they couldn't get through the guy to make the play.
It was a nice pinch, nice crackback block there from the slot receiver on that side.
Quick inside handoff. No, he fakes, and he's going to keep it himself, and Beal's going to run around, pick up a couple of more.
Dane Cousineau brought him down.
So Cousineau saw him, and we have an injured player on the field for Brunswick.
I think that may have been the quarterback who is laying there, Cam Beal. He got spun down.
He is grabbing his right knee.
I'm not sure.
Do have a trainer on site out there talking to Brunswick. Brunswick appears they brought a trainer as well. So the kids are in good hands initially.
You never like to see this, though. We want everybody to be safe playing the game, but, football is a violent sport.
It is a contact sport, and it happens. But you know what? It can happen. Walk into the bathroom or getting something from the fridge.
Absolutely.
So that's Nate Baucom that's down right now. And he's up on his feet.
Glad to see. He's got a little ginger walk, but he's at least
that's
walking.
His own power. He's on his own power, so good to see for Nate. It's going to bring up a 2nd And about 7 here for Brunswick. 6:26 left in the first quarter, second quarter, with the Cougars up 28-0. Clock running for the Cougars.
Twins on both sides, no tight ends. And that's
his ball right up the middle, and he's immediately swallowed up.
Cole McCord
again with the initial contact. Little help from Hayden and Ratcliffe there, and Brunswick loses ground on that, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 12.
And that's tough for an inexperienced offensive line. They were spread. They had twins on both sides, no tight end help, and that was a handoff inside to the running back, and there were 6 Mount Blue players in the box and 5 blockers. So sometimes, I mean, I've taught math before, so I'm hoping I come out right.
Doesn't add up to positive, I can tell you that.
Doesn't add up.
There's a quick throw to the outside. We're going to see where he's marked, but he's going to be about 2 yards short.
He's going to be short of the line to gain. That was a nice play, though. And I think Brunswick's going to have to do more of that. They're going to have to get that ball out quick.
Absolutely. It's got to be – you don't have time to run big routes downfield. You're not going to do all that.
No, Beal doesn't have enough time back there to do that.
No, but, I mean, these little quick hitters, the little
yep.
That was a little bit of a banana route and a little flare out there. And that's how you stop a lot of the big penetration is you keep those guys back. Make them respect the fact that you can throw if you need to.
Eben
Barker comes up. Cousineau slowed him down. He bounced outside, and right beside Cousineau was Barker, and Barker finished it up.
We watch it here on the replay. Dane Cousineau comes up, makes the first contact right there, and then Eben Barker just says, I got you.
So Brunswick stopped on that 4th down play. It's going to bring the Cougar offense back onto the field. 5:22 to go in the second quarter.
I'm just very impressed with this defense. They are really –
They're flying to the football.
They are flying to the football. Absolutely.
And aggression and speed can cover a lot of weaknesses, and that builds confidence. And when you start getting these guys confidence, they're going to be a whole different team than they were, say, last week.
Absolutely. We got Cohen Young in the backfield here.
Young takes the ball. He's going to scramble off to the left side. Keep his feet moving as he drags some people. And I'll tell you what, he's not going to go down easy. He does not go down on first contact, and he keeps moving. But Young just rumbled for about 7.5 or 8 yards more.
He was 5 yards downfield before he got touched.
He was.
That offensive line opened a hole right there.
And when you can be full speed against somebody who isn't full speed,
good things happen for you.
Absolutely.
Be the hammer, not the nail. So second and about 3/4 of an inch, the way they've got it marked across the field. Cousineau gets the ball, and he's going to just sprint. He's going to go to the corner of the end zone. Cousineau's not going to be stopped. And Dane Cousineau is going to sprint into the right side of the end zone. 4:18 left in the second quarter. And put 6 more on the board for the Cougars. You could see as the hole opened, Cousineau was hitting the hole, and it was like nobody knew he had the ball or something. He just headed to the outside and just kept going. And that was what we call getting on your chair. He got through that initial line, took it to the outside.
Down to the outside, up the sideline, touchdown time.
Turned on the afterburners and said, catch you later.
Cougars looking for a 2-point conversion here. Someone better pay attention to Noah Prescott. This seems to have been his spot tonight. Said it's going to be a quick pitch to Young. He makes a quick turn.
Wow.
And gets into the end zone. But he was hit 3 yards deep.
Wow.
Bullied off that contact, spun off it, dragged defenders into the end zone.
Right here, hit at almost the 8-yard line. spins to the inside, and makes it to the end zone.
And you got 3 or 4 Brunswick Dragons around him, too, as he dragged them into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So do have a Brunswick Dragon down in the end zone right now. But the Cougars have jumped out to a 36-0 lead with 4:18 here.
And Mr. Young, he runs with some authority, so. He's up.
So Trevor Garish is up and walking off on his own. He's one of the guys in the middle of the linebacking core, and a lot of stuff happens right there at the line of scrimmage, but he jogs off on his own power, so.
Good to see. He'll be back.
Young appears to be the kicker again for the Cougars. And I hate to jinx it because it usually always seems to happen the way, but Farmer's done a great job snapping the ball tonight. He's hit Meter in the chest every single time the ball's been snapped back there. And
absolutely. The only snafu was that first attempted extra point there that kind of bounced back. Other than that, we've seen really good snaps, which is actually it's a big improvement from last week. Last week, a few of the snaps were floating. Tonight, they seem to be humming back there. So, again, it's just a situation where I think they're going to get better and better and better.
So Young kicks the ball. Goes to the third line. They pick it up. Start coming around. Alex Ratcliffe's at the bottom of that pile again. You see him start making contact.
It's almost like it's the usual suspects. Caleb Hutchinson was in there, Eben Barker. They're just guys who have a nose for the football and want to get in there and hit somebody.
And 31's in on the tackle, too.
Tucker Bates. Looks like Brunswick's coming in tight with 2 tight ends this time. Snap was high, and
Beal's just going to run. Stevens winds up chasing him down. He picks up 6. Stevens in there in a linebacker slot now. That seems to be Brunswick's best play. Just snap the ball, let the quarterback pick a hole and go.
I think it is. The snap was high. Beal had to jump, and he was pretty much getting chased from the moment he left the pocket.
Penetration has not been a problem tonight for the Cougars defense. They make it a living in Brunswick's backfield.
Not at all. And if those defensive ends, just kind of play that outside gap, that C-gap area, and push it inside, they can stop that outside sweep by the quarterback.
There's a little pump fake, and he's going to get into trouble. Kutcher gets him around. Nice cut right there. Cam Beal made a couple of elusive moves right there when it appeared the Cougars were easily going to have him for a big loss, and made another cut downfield to pick up the first down. So 3:07 left here in the first half. First down, Brunswick.
I don't know.
At their own 45.
Brad Kutch is kind of a big boy, and Beal is not. He tried to grab him, and he wasn't there. He stopped him, but didn't grab him.
Brunswick hopping around on the sideline here. Cut down in the middle, and I tell you what.
Mr.
Bang,
Ratcliffe.
big old Sam Ratcliffe. Had penetration, saw the inside handoff. Didn't go by it, wrapped up right there. Brought him down with a host of Cougars.
That was a great play.
Good play from Sam Ratcliffe. Brings up a 2nd and 15.
Dick Butkus used to say, just grab everybody in the backfield and throw them out till you find the one with the ball. Sam Ratcliffe found the one with the ball.
Brunswick doesn't seem to have the success with the trip formation as they do with the close tights.
May watch, I was just about to say.
Beal looking to pass, throws the ball. He had a receiver open. Hunter Duval was open in that cushion between the linebackers and safety, but Beal couldn't get to him.
I was just about to say, I think they're going to set up this either twins or trips one way and let Beal roll out the other way because the defense is going to shift a little bit. The problem with rolling out to the left like that for a right-handed quarterback is that he has to turn his body completely to try and make that pass.
Throwing against his momentum.
And if he doesn't, then he's throwing a dart, and that's not usually good either.
Comes this way. Duval's handed back. You saw Evan Barker drop coverage, move up, let the safety come over and take him. And Steve Galkowski came across.
Yeah, even if that pass had been completed, that might not have been good for the receivers.
First down. That would have been well short as Galkowski was right on top of him. Brings up a 4th and 15 here for Brunswick.
One of the reasons that, a quarterback overthrows like that is that they're not planting that back foot. They're not following through with the pass. They're just kind of floating it out there. But Beal, to his credit, has not had a lot of time to plant those feet and throw the ball either.
Beal back to pass, goes across the middle. Almost picked off. The ball hit Jimmy Cook. Fell incomplete. Charles Stevens was right on top of it. But the Cougars are actually going to be in a better position by not intercepting that. Because that was a 4th and 15, so Cougars will get the ball. With 2:07 left here in the first half.
Good to see Nathaniel Hutchins back out there at tackle.
Cougars get the play signaled in. Meter and Young in the backfield. Twins left is a quick pitch. Good inside cut. It was a great block right there in the backfield on a defensive runner that came up. Nevin Barker hit him, went with him rather than trying to turn his body. The kid wanted to go out. Evan said, "I'll go right with you."
Rode him right out of the play.
Mira blocked him right out of the play. Young made a nice cut inside and picked up a quick 9 for the Cougars.
I'd actually like to have seen Young stay on the outside on that one. He kind of cut back in, and sometimes you pick up a few more yards by staying to that outside and using your speed. He kind of shortened his stroke and went up against the grain.
Stevie Galkowski running the ball, and Galkowski comes around the outside. Flag on the play.
Could have been a flag for a high tackle on that, too. It was wrapped right around the helmet.
So that's going to nullify the play.
So not everything's going perfectly for the Cougars.
No, it's going to be holding on the Cougars. That's going to cost them a quick 10.
That's a couple of hold-in penalties that have been called tonight against the Cougars.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 13 for the Cougars here. 1:23 left on the clock.
But I'm not sure Jaden Meter looks at it as a setback. He's just looking at, I'm just reloading.
Well, he went 56 to Wrigley earlier in the game, so he's getting back to the area where he likes to throw.
Yeah.
Quick throw out to Stevens. Stevens makes a couple of guys miss, fights. And he's going to pick up 5 or 6 tough earned yards there from Charles Stevens.
Absolutely.
He's going to bring up about 3rd and 7.
Gave a little stiff arm
3rd
there.
and 8 for the Cougars.
Cut up field, got what he could.
Well, he's a big kid, so they're going low, and he understands that. So he picked his feet up, started doing some high knees on the initial contact, and got him around the kid. So good play by Stevens. So 3rd and 8 here for the Cougars. Meter pump fakes. He's looking across the middle. Had him and just went a little bit too high to Stevens. It's going to be 4th down for the Cougars. We're going to see what they're going to do here with 33 seconds left in the half.
Now, if you're a quarterback coach, you say, well, the receiver got his hands on the ball. He should have caught it, but that one was pretty tall.
That would have been a hell of a catch, let me put it that way.
When you got a 6'2" receiver who's fully extended.
And his arms make him 8'2".
A good vertical jump, and he's just getting it with his fingertips.
You're a little high.
You're a little high.
Quick pick back to Galkowski. Reads the block, makes a good cut. Steve Galkowski makes a good cut. And he's going to pick up about 4, but that's not going to be enough. So with 20 seconds left in the half, Brunswick's going to take over with a turnover on down for the Cougars.
Here you go, Coach. Your situation. You're down 36-0. 20 seconds left in the first half. You going to take a knee and walk away? Are you going to run and play? Or are you going to air it out?
I'm airing it out.
I'm airing it out.
I'm airing it out. At this point, they need to get something that works with a little bit of confidence in general, and here's the whole trickeration thing. You're not going to have a lot of time to do it in the backfield, but you're going to find a way to do it down the field. Someone's hitting a seam here somewhere.
Absolutely. Safeties are dropping back, so they're going to have the deep coverage.
They go underneath. That's not going to do a lot. So Ratcliffe throws it down. Now we've got multiple flags, one during the play, one at the end of the play.
First flag probably is holding on an offensive lineman. The second flag, I'm not sure. I didn't see anything.
No, it appeared to be a clean
tackle.
hit. There was nothing to face mask. He had him around the waist, so.
The Zebras are still conferring here. They're pointing in both directions, so we got holding. That was the first flag.
They call him the tackle unsportsmanlike. I didn't see him do anything wrong. He didn't pick him up and slam him or anything. So
I think that's what they called him for, though, because he had him around the waist. He did that circle and then took him to the ground. But
it was hard to hear when the whistle blew, but it didn't look like he did anything malicious there for sure. And that was Ratcliffe. I mean, he's a hard-nosed player, but I've never seen him
not at all
unleash on somebody in a way that isn't a form. That was form to me. But either way, it brings up second down as they offset. And 13.1 seconds left on the clock.
Not sure what they're doing. I think they're trying to set the ball because we're replaying.
Well, they changed
the down.
it. That was first down. So on offsetting penalties, it's going to remain first down. They had it swapped to second down, so therefore bringing it back. Beal's going to scramble out and dump it off to Cook, who's going to try to get up the field. He's going to be a little short, and that's going to be the end of the half. So at the end of the first half, Cougars owning a 36-0 halftime score here from Caldwell Field on the Mount Blue campus.
And welcome back to Caldwell Field. This is Galen Dalrymple, and I'll be running the second half by myself. Ron Smith Jr., my compadre, had to go back to a gig he is doing, and my other compadre, Gerald Haynes, is doing the PA for the game tonight, and he's being helped out by Dino Durrell. Spot in for him, and we'll get through it. We'll have a good time. That first half, we saw the Cougars come out offensively, put the ball in the air, spreading the ball around to multiple receivers. Jaden Meter, birthday boy himself, did a great job throwing the ball around, hitting multiple receivers, and was quite successful. Cougars put 36 points up on the board. Defensively, they played very well. They were sprinting to the ball, being very aggressive, and that's what happens when you play well on offense and play stone on defense. You wind up with a halftime score of 36-0. Cougars have, are enjoying this. Last week, things didn't always go their way. They struggled a little bit, but they seem to have ironed those kinks out and look pretty good as we are watching both teams get ready for the second half kickoff. And Mountain Blue, who deferred in the first half, is going to get the ball to start the second half. Isaac Wrigley is back deep for the Cougars to our left. And Liam Scholl is getting ready to kick off for the Dragons. And there's the kick when the second half is underway. Kick's going to go to Wrigley. He goes up the little. He cuts into the middle of the field. He has an opening. Isaac Wrigley on his way down the sidelines, running over a defender. Christian McMaster, and into Dragon territory. We do have an injured player down for Brunswick. That was a great play by Isaac Wrigley, coming up into the middle of the field, seeing the opening. The injured player for Brunswick is Trevor Garish. No, it is Tyler Maxim. He's limping a little bit, walking a little gingerly, but good to see him walking off the field. Mount Blue is going to start inside Dragon territory. Ball's going to be just outside the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars, and it'll be right on the 31-yard line. The Mount Blue starters is still in the game. We have Jaden Meter at quarterback, Cohen Young as the running back in this formation. A.J. Liberty is out wide right on the formation. Isaac Wrigley wide left. Your tight ends are up the field. First down. 16-yard run for Young on that one. He just followed his blocking. That left side of the line just pummeled the hole open. Warren Allen leading the way there from his guard position, finding a hole in that defense. Jaden Meter looked like he wanted to throw it, but then decided to keep it. Not quite back to the line of scrimmage. Brought down on the play by Phoenix Dupree Bowman. And I guess we have to classify that as a sack since Meter did not make it back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 2nd down and 11 for the Cougars. We got 3 receivers out to the right. And it's going to be a screen outside to Stevens. Stevens going to move down the field. And he's going to go out of bounds at about the 5. Just looks like they're going to, he may have stepped out before he got that far. They're going to say it's going to be at about the 7-yard line. Cougars will have it 3rd and 1. Stevens once again took the short pass and just used his long legs to move the ball to the outside. He matriculated it pretty well. Cohen Young behind Meter in the backfield. Tight formation. Young up the middle. He'll have the first down. And he will push down inside the 5-yard line. Mount Blue will have it 1st and goal at about the 3.5-yard line. Play being sent in. Everybody's checking their wristbands to make sure they're all looking at the same picture. Once again, Young takes it up the middle. Nice defensive play underneath. Phoenix Dupree Bowman underneath on that. Took Young down before he could really make that cut to the outside. Actually stopped him for a loss on the play. Second and goal for the Cougars here. Once again, we got a bunch right, tight formation left. And there's the pass. Dropped. Noah Prescott, that was his first drop tonight. He's been targeted several times, normally sure-handed. I think that one kind of took him by surprise. Meter hucked that one with some authority. As comedian Bob Marley would say, he chucked that ball. Cougars again looking at the wristbands. Play is set. Isaac Wrigley is out wide left. Lil Liberty is wide right. There's the pass to the inside. This time it goes to Stevens and a touchdown. Charles Stevens, I think that might be his 3rd touchdown tonight. He is a vacuum cleaner right now, catching everything thrown to him. Looks like they're going to go, Cougars are going to go for 2. And Young is going to be stopped short of the goal line. So with that score, Mount Blue, 7:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. Cougars 42, Dragons nothing. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors tonight, Origin and the Height family of dealerships. Thank you very much to those 2 businesses for continuing to support our effort to bring you high school sports. And football being the game that we're watching tonight and enjoying it. Nothing better than to be on a field on a Friday night under the lights in the fall. And it's not a bad night. It's pretty warm. Inside the booth here, it's warmer than it is out there. I see some people donning long sleeve shirts and sweaters. I'm still in my short sleeve shirt, feeling good about it.
We're built for it. Built for it.
We are built for this type of weather. We wouldn't snowmobile in 20 below if we weren't. Fly like Superman, whatever works. Young's kick goes to Quinn McCaffrey. He's going to go up the right side, and he's going to slip down just before he got to the 30-yard line. Looks like it's, just inside the 30-yard line. McCaffrey will give the Dragons a 1st and 10. Mountain Blues defense has played pretty stout tonight.
First and 10. Swing pass to number 20.
That was a
Swing pass to number 20 was Stansfield for a
Stansfield took the ball wide out there. A swing pass, and he cut it back into the heart of the Mount Blue defense. There is a flag on the field. And that late on the call, it was probably an unsportsmanlike. That was after the play was over. It is unsportsmanlike conduct against the Dragons. A lot of times when that happens, a player just lets his emotions get the best of him and says something he probably shouldn't to one of the officials, and that results in a big penalty. I don't know. Andre kind of laughed when I said that. I don't know that I ever did that as a player, but I bet I probably did once or twice. I know I did it coaching, so. Officials move back out of the formation now. Beal ready to take the snap. And he's going to try quick passing it. And that was, that might have been knocked down by one of the up linemen. Maybe Tucker Bates. He's getting some high fives from his teammates, so that might have been the case. That pass had a low trajectory, and I think Bates just kind of stuck his arm out there and knocked it down before it ever had a chance to really get past the line of scrimmage. Again, Brunswick in the shotgun. Beal's back there with Stansfield and can't quite pick out that other number. Beal's going to throw it deep. 2 defenders there. And that ball is going to be intercepted. Eben Barker on the interception. He has been everywhere tonight. Right here we see it. Eben, nice high point in the ball, almost like a receiver would do, and just took it away from the defender, the offensive player, making the interception. Great play by Barker. He has been all over the field tonight. That defense continues to play very sharp.
He climbed the rope on that one, Coach.
High pointed the ball, definitely. He's not super tall, so he had to give it every inch of elevation that he could get. Timeout, Brunswick. That's their first timeout of the second half. And if I know Eben Barker, he may have used that offensive player to get that elevation too. He probably pushed down on his shoulder pad a little bit. It's only bad if it's called, Coach. Only bad if it's called. .434 to go in the third quarter. Brunswick with a timeout on the field. Mount Blue has the ball and the big lead. The Mount Blue starters are still in the game. You know, it's kind of a tough situation because, yes, the game is well in hand for the Cougars. On the flip side, you know, this is an opportunity for them to try different things and get some, get some more experience. They have a young backfield. They have young wideouts. The offensive line's pretty experienced. There's a pass from Meter out to Liberty out in the flats, and he's going to be very close to a first down. And it does first down. When I was looking at the move the down marker with the chains, I was like, that's on the wrong side of the chains. That should be a first down.
I've called a few things wrong already tonight. Publicly.
Meter hands off up the middle to Cohen Young. Young will pick up maybe 3 yards, 3 tough yards there. Yeah, they seem to keep moving that down marker back and back. They started about 4, and then they worked their way backwards. We'll get there. Looks like Dane Cousineau is now in the backfield with Jaden Meter. It's going to be Cousineau he's getting to the outside, makes a nice cut inside, and will be brought down for a loss on the play. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 10 after that 2-yard loss. The Brunswick defense came up hard on that one, and when you go into the short side of the field like that, it doesn't give you a runner a real chance to get to the outside. And good defenders will use that sidelines as another defender and push you toward it. Good read by Meter, able to get out there, and he's going. Oh! Nice pass across his body, turned, threw a strike to Charles Stevens. He had the ball momentarily, but that was a good hit on defense, jarring the ball loose, and that was the quarterback, Cam Beal, who made that hit for Brunswick, and that really prevented the Cougars from getting the first down on that play. So Mount Blue is going to say, if we don't make it, we're going to play defense, but they're going for it on 4th and 10. Meter takes the ball. He looks, he's getting outside, and he is going to get stopped. He tripped up when he rolled left there, and from that point on, it was going to be tough sledding. Cougars will turn the ball over on downs. Brunswick will have the ball just inside their 45-yard line. We'll call it the 43 and a half. And
Brunswick ain't giving up. They're still flying around.
They'll have a first down. I'm trying to take a look around. We have a couple of new players in on defense. Trey Bailey is now in at one of the safeties. And that's the only number I can pick out right now, but I believe we have a couple of new players in there. Brunswick doesn't have many players to work with, so they're still with their starters. And that was just sheer athleticism and strength working together to take a guy down in the backfield. Sam Ratcliffe and Cole McCourt. Sam Ratcliffe and Cole McCourt tag team to bring the runner down for about a 5-yard loss. That was just strength and speed working together, and worked out very well for the Cougars on that one. Cole McCourt's a very, very athletic player. That brings us to the end of the third quarter. I believe we are in running time now because of the score. And Mount Blue is up 42-0.
Mount Blue TV Sports is brought to you in part by these generous sponsors. Origin USA, built to work, made for life, without compromise. The Height family of dealerships since 1911, with locations in Skowhegan, Farmington, and Madison. Jocko Fuel, hard work, clean fuel, no excuses.
I know. And welcome back to Caldwell Field. We're ready to start the fourth quarter. Mount Blue in a commanding lead here, and now it looks like some younger players are going out on the field, so it's going to get a little dicey to get all the numbers down. We'll do our best. We want all our players to be recognized, and I'll do my best to make sure that that we know who they are.
That's a pick.
Oh, who's that? 65. We just named it. Interception with number 65, Mason Willett.
The officials, it looked like it was going to be picked off, but the officials back there calling it an incomplete pass.
Never seen a 65 during safety before in my life.
That's why they swore it off. They didn't know where to catch that.
Mason Willett was the one who had a chance to pick the ball off.
There's one spot there where it goes through, right through the elbows, right through the crotch. It's kind of where he caught it. That's why he catches with the hands.
You don't have offensive linemen playing safety.
Beal threw that ball just about as far, I think, as he can throw a football. And actually overthrew his receiver by like 3 or 4 yards. But, again, he doesn't have a lot of time back there. That Mount Blue defense continues to put the pressure on. We got motion coming from right to left. It's a quick screen out to McCaffrey. McCaffrey's got some running room, and he has the wheels. Brunswick is going to get their first touchdown of the game. Well-designed play, and once McCaffrey got to the outside there, he ran like the NFL version of McCaffrey and took it all the way to the end zone. Evan Barker did his best, but didn't quite have the angle to pick him up.
It's his cousin. They said he's related to him. No. I don't know what told me that.
I got some prognosticators here in the booth with me who are giving me all kinds of information about how this McCaffrey's related to, McCaffrey plays for the Panthers, who's also on my fantasy football team, who I expect to get about 25 points with. That's what I'm hoping for. Brunswick's going for the 2, and the pass is good.
Who's that, Garrett?
Looks like number 9, Garish on the Trevor Garish on the reception for Brunswick.
Number 9, Trevor Garrett versus Sept for 2.18.
So we have 10:33 to go in the fourth quarter. Score now 42-8. Should still be running time, I think. That'll make a 34-point difference, and it should stay running time. And all running time means is that once the team is up by a substantial amount, it prevents the game from getting very, very ugly. And so Mount Blue will be getting the ball, and on offense they'll be receiving the kick, and we'll see what they do and see what they come out with. I imagine that there'll be some younger players who come out on offense on the next offensive possession. We'll probably see Clay Dunning at quarterback, and I'm only speculating. Mount Blue doing all kinds of shifting on that kickoff return team. The kick goes, and it's going to go to Colin Young, and he's going to come up the middle. He's going to bring the ball out to about the 41. Very good return for Cohen Young, and Mount Blue's looks like their backup offense comes onto the field. Clay Dunning will be in at quarterback. He'll be flanked by Cousineau right now, number 22. I think that running time, once it stops on a change of possession, I think once they go again, that running time is going to continue. We'll find out here after this play. The handoff to Cousineau, and he's going to come up the middle. He'll pick up about 2 yards. Mount Blue player lost his helmet. That was Caleb Hutchinson. He has to leave the game. Brody Farmer entering the game for Hutchinson. Brody's an interesting young man. I really enjoy talking to him, and he's a good sport. That snap came back kind of slow, and Dunning pitched it out to Cousineau, but there was really nothing they could do with that. Once again, the Mount Blue offense is looking at their wristbands, what play they're running. Clay Dunning calling the signals, takes the snap. And the pass was intended for Brody Cousineau, Brody Farmer. Sorry about that. And he caught it as he was turning. I think he was looking upfield and just never got a handle on the football. I believe this is going to be 4th and 14 for the Cougars. And Mount Blue is going to keep the offense on the ball. And Caleb Hutchinson on the reception and turns it upfield, broke a tackle, picked up another 9 yards and got the first down. That was individual effort right there, breaking the tackle attempt, good blocking downfield. Christian McMaster attempted to make the tackle there, and Eben Barker made a nice block to spring him for a few more yards. Dunning with the calls, tight formation. Cousineau up the field, makes a cut to the inside, and he'll probably have another first down for the Cougars. Cousineau patient on that one, waited for the play to develop, saw the opening, and then took the ball up the field. Nice bit of running by by the running back on that one. We now have Steve Golkowski in the backfield. Dunning takes, Golkowski comes up the middle, and he's going to be spun down. Gain of 2 probably. Brings up 2nd and 8 for the Cougars. Cougars not in any hurry. The big lead. They just want to keep that clock running. And a lot of times one of the players will look for the official. If you see the official in his white hat start swinging his arm, that means we're down to the end. There's the arm. Golkowski on the carry, and he will pick up probably 3, brings up 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5. There is a flag down. I guess they're going to mark it off against Brunswick. It has to be a, there it is, a face mask, personal foul face mask. That is a 15-yarder. The difference between an inadvertent face mask and a personal foul is whether or not the defender hangs on to the mask. A lot of times they'll grab the mask and immediately let go. That'll be a 5-yarder. If they grab the mask and the running back's head makes a movement like it's being held, that's always going to be a 15-yarder. So that'll give the Cougars first down. And there's the pass. Oh! Dunning's pass on a slanting Barker was on target. Barker dropped it. He's gonna be angry with himself on that one. He had a clear shot at the touchdown, and I think he probably looked upfield and said, I got one, and then he didn't. So you got to make the catch. Nothing matters until you make the catch. Golkowski on that run. He has come up and met by Colin McCaffrey on that defensive stop, who came up hard, made a nice play. It's going to make it 3rd and long for the Cougars. Dunning has the play. Gets his team ready. There's the snap. Dunning's looking for a pass. He's going deep, and it's caught.
Number 7, Clay Dunning with a beautiful pass.
Touchdown.
Number 45,
Alex Ratcliffe on the reception, and he caught that in traffic. That was a beautiful catch, pass and catch from Dunning to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe ran a little bit of a fade pattern, did a 5 and slant out, and Dunning put the ball right in his hands in traffic. Golkowski cuts back, very close to the end zone, and he is in. Stevie Golkowski, touchdown, Cougars. So the second offensive group says we can do it too. New look. It looks like it's the starting group out there on kickoff.
Probably haven't even put together a JV one yet, have they?
How many count they had this morning?
Mount Blue has 4 defenders to the left of the kicker, 6 to the right. Cohen Young makes the 11th player, and he's the kicker. His kick is going to go out of bounds directly. That is going to be a penalty. And I suspect that they will take the ball because the penalty will I think the ball goes out to the 35, and Brunswick is going to take the ball at the 35-yard line.
Is it where it goes out, or does it automatically go to 35?
Goes to the 35 automatically.
By rule, Brunswick elects to take the ball on 30.
Okay, there are some younger players out there on defense now. And Brunswick, I believe, has too many men on the field, and I think they call that a delay of game. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me, except you all just did. And in either case, it is a penalty against the offense, and it'll move them back 5 yards. Brunswick now ready to get the offense going. Mount Blue making some changes on defense. And the quarterback, Beal, is deciding he's got to go with it. And he overthrows Garish, who was open. There was coverage coming from Mason Willett, and it was a little too tall for Garish, a little in front of him. But again, Beal pretty much was being chased from the moment he dropped back into the backfield. That front line of freshman Sam Ratcliffe and freshman Joey Hayden are still there. They're getting a little bonus time now. They need this time, though, to continue to hone their craft. They're still young players. Brunswick's going to take the snap. The snap is low, and it's going nowhere. The entire defensive line, Brad Kutcher, Joey Hayden, Sam Ratcliffe, and 75. I want to give him credit. He was in there. The entire defensive line was in on that one. Isaac Waltrip. Isaac Waltrip was in there. That was a conference call on the quarterback, and all 4 defensive linemen showed up.
I think we need Dean a spot for us for that going forward.
Quarterback back. He's gonna throw it long, and it goes high. Well defended by the Cougars. Trey Bailey back there. Eben Barker was back there. Willett was back there. The defense was in nice coverage on that one. Brunswick's going to punt the ball. Looks like Eben Barker's going back deep for the Cougars. High snap. He's going to get it away. That was very close to being blocked.
Get away from it. Leave it alone.
Touchdown by the Brunswick Dragons at about the 48-yard line. Cougars going to have the ball first down. We'll look and see who's in there on offense now. Well, he's got his, looks like Cousineau's back in at running back. Back there with Dunning. Barker's one of the receivers. Trey Bailey looks to be the receiver on the other side. Dunning takes the ball, hands off to Cousineau. Cousineau upfield, makes a nice play, meets the defender head on, very close to a first down. And I believe it's going to be a first down, Cougars. That was very fast. We have a flag down, so that's back in the area of holding. There's been no call yet, but holding is the call against the Cougars. Cougars have had several holding calls negate big plays tonight. That's in so many ways they have made great strides in a week. Just all across the ball, both sides of the ball, and all phases of the game. They have made great stride, but the holding calls are one area that they've had several of today. And in big games, you don't. In big games like that, you don't want to negate big plays with penalties. That was 88, Kyle Cheney on the carry. Stopped in the backfield by the middle of the Brunswick defensive line. Tyler Maxim seemed to be in the middle of that, and Gavin Barber. Brunswick does not have big numbers, so a lot of their players are going both ways, and a lot of their starters are still in the game, and that's just a fact that they're going to have to play with this year because they really don't have the numbers. And we have penalties everywhere. 33 on 33, and a helmet was ripped off Caleb Hutchinson. And we'll have to wait and see how this goes, but usually when one player rips the helmet off another player, it's not allowed. It's a penalty. We'll have to see how this plays out. And it is going to go against the Dragons. So instead of 3rd and 40, the Cougars will have 3rd and 15 after that 15-yard penalty. So rather than 3rd and 40 acres, we got 3rd and 5 acres. Clay Dunning ready to go. He's got Cousineau behind him. Tight formation, which tells me that the Cougars might be running the football here. Though sometimes out of these tight formations, you do a release, either a tight end or wide receiver release up the middle, and the quarterback just airs it out. But with a score of 50-8, I suspect the Cougars are going to keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock running. I'm not sure what's happening here. And it is an ejection. 33. Jimmy Cook has been ejected from the game. And like I said, usually when a player takes another player's helmet and throws it, and actually took it off his head, then throws it, that's not good. And the result in this situation is that young Mr. Cook has been ejected from the game. So the Brunswick has a replacement in there. The Cougars were ready to go. Now I'm not sure what's happening. The official's still talking. The head coach of Brunswick's asking for a little clarification here, and, you know, that's his right. And I'm sure he's arguing on behalf of his player, saying, hey, it was going both ways. But that's not going to fly because one player's helmet was taken off his head and thrown across the field. And the clock starts running again. We are in running time. Dunning with Cousineau behind him, tight formation. It's going to be a hand. Nope. Dunning is looking, and he's going to be brought down by a bunch of. And we have another flag. This time it's going to go against Porter Stanchfield, and he may have been ejected as well. This is frustration. It's not good to see, but that's what happens when you're trying to rebuild a program and you're going to take some lumps along the way. It's just part of the game. These players have to understand this. Every team goes through these rebuilding times. I've been coaching when it happens, and you just got to take it. That's all there is to it. And you know, they'll figure that out. The coaching staff will work with them, and you can't lose your head and make mistakes that are going to cost your team. And Mount Blue will have the ball with a first down and tight formation. I don't know if they'll even hand it off here. Might be a knee. Of course, Dunning is going to stay in the shotgun. That's Mount Blue's primary formation. Brunswick's trying to get themselves composed. And the clock has started running. Dunning's looking at the clock, and I'm not sure Mount Blue even needs to snap it. I believe with the clock, the game is going to be over. We're just waiting for the final whistle, and Mount Blue will take home a victory, 50-8. We'll be right back to summarize the game in just a few moments.
Mount Blue TV Sports is brought to you in part by these generous sponsors. Origin USA, built to work, made for life, without compromise. The Height family of dealerships since 1911, with locations in Skowhegan, Farmington, and Madison. Jocko Fuel, hard work, clean fuel, no excuses.
Okay, we'll wrap it up here at Caldwell Field. Mount Blue wins its opening game of the 2022 season, and 50-8. Very good output by the offense and defense. Jaden Meter led the way tonight, throwing the ball and just making really smart decisions. Charles Stevens, great offensively and defensively. Eben Barker, Caleb Hutchinson, Alex Ratcliffe. Too many names on defense to name them all. The young players, Joey Hayden and Sam Ratcliffe, all did a great job. And this is a good building point for a young Cougars team. It's a mix of older players and younger players, and they really gelled tonight. So next week's an away game. We'll be on the road. And for all of us here at Mount Blue TV and for our sponsors, Origin and the Height Chevrolet family of dealerships, actually not just Chevrolet. I know they sell Dodge and Jeep over in the Madison-Skowhegan area. And thank you very much to those folks. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next week, for all of the crew here at Mount Blue TV, have a great week. We'll see you next week.